Hello all and welcome to Astro Wheel of Fortune. My name is Vlada and I read tarot. For this reading I'm going to be doing the October predictions. So we are going to have 4 groups, group 1, group 2, group 3 and group 4. Sorry about my voice. I've lost my voice over the weekend. I'm just not feeling very well. So if I cough or anything like that, I do apologize. So for this reading, I'm just going to see what the cards want to talk about. I'm going to be live shuffling for the October predictions. And we'll just see what pops up organically. So if you want to pause the video and take a bit of time to meditate over the groups, you can do so. You can pause the video now. But other than that, let's get started. We're going to get started with group number 1, which is the Black Tourmaline. I'm going to put these aside. Okay, so let's get started with the Black Tourmaline group. What is coming up for group 1 in October? What is coming up for group 1 in October, please? Two of Wands. 4 of Wands in reverse. And 5 of Wands in reverse. Wow, a lot of Wands. A lot of fire energy. So you could be a fire sign. Not necessarily though. But when I see a lot of Wands or a lot of Wand energy in a reading, I always think about this like almost like inner fire or inner drive that maybe wants to be heard. And what I'm getting here from this specific group is that there's maybe some sort of a calling, some sort of a drive, some sort of an ambition that really wants to be seen and wants to be heard within you. It's kind of like almost battling things out to get out. That's the kind of energy I'm picking up on here. So maybe there's something that really wants to be honored within you. Maybe it's an interest of yours. Maybe it's something you're passionate about. But I feel like this energy wants to be seen. I'm almost getting this energy of a volcano and like a dormant volcano that has been dormant for way too long. That is like ready to erupt again. That's the kind of energy I'm picking up on here. So again, you could be a fire sign because there is a lot of fire kind of theme that I'm picking up on. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm getting this need to express something, this need to show something off within yourself. It could be a talent that you used to hide, or maybe you didn't want to show it off too much. All of a sudden, you may feel like you want to put it online. Maybe you start feeling like you want to, let's say you have like a singing talent or something like that. And in the past, you would just like sing at home, sing when you were alone. You enjoyed singing, but you didn't particularly want to show it off to anyone. This is the month where all of a sudden, it's almost like you can't stop sharing your singing. You want to perform in front of people. You want to sing in front of people. You want to put up a video of you singing up online. So there's that kind of like energy of like something that you used to maybe even not pay too much attention to, or something you enjoy doing privately, all of a sudden wants to become public. That's the kind of energy that I'm picking up on. And this might be a little bit out of your comfort zone. This might be a little bit out of the ordinary for you. I'm even getting that it's maybe a little bit untraditional the way that you do it. So maybe something seems very uncharacteristic to you even. You know, it's like, wow, I never thought I'd be in the center of attention, like singing in front of all these people. It's so not like me. This happens for you. And again, I'm using singing as an example. It doesn't necessarily have to be the case for you. It could be showcasing your art, showcasing, you know, your creations, showcasing your talent in something. It can be whatever. But it's something that you used to do privately, you're bringing up to the public. And maybe a reason why you used to be afraid of showing it or haven't shown it up to this point is because you were afraid of competition, or you were afraid that there were people that are better than you at it. And even if you didn't think that you were going to have to compete with people, you didn't want to be compared to people. So there's this feeling of like, I don't want my art to be compared to other artists. I don't want my singing to be compared to other artists. And that's why I don't want to show it. But that you're kind of overcoming that kind of fear. You're kind of stepping over that in the month of October. So that's the first point. I feel like a lot of you are very talented in this group. Like you have a talent in something, but you're also very humble about it. You're not very showy about it. And not like, we should be showy about our talents, you know, like I'm not saying it's like a good thing that you're not showy about it. It's just not in your character. It hasn't been in your character up to this point, and now you're ready to kind of explore it more, to show it off more. Maybe you might even get this kind of feeling like in October you like bragging about your achievements. You like showing off your achievements. You might feel a bit more called to show off like something that you achieved in your workplace. Maybe you somewhere where you would have been a little bit more humble, and maybe you would have sat back in the past, and you know, maybe your friends are like sharing their achievements. You would have kind of like held it to yourself. You're kind of like, you know what, I want to brag this month. Like that's the energy that I'm getting from you. Like I want to brag, I want to show off, I want to tell people how amazing I am. Like again, it doesn't feel like something you've been comfortable with for a while, but in October there's this feeling of like, why not? Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I express this kind of feeling of excitement for my own achievements, for my own talents? It's like you're also done pretending like something you're talented in, that you're not talented in it. Like I'm kind of getting this feeling of, you know, if someone complimented you and be like, oh my God, you're so good at this. And you'd be like, oh my God, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I still have a lot to learn. In October, you're like, oh my God, yes, thank you. I am really good at this. Like, you know, that kind of energy. You're like, yes, thank you. I am really good at this skill, at this talent. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I worked really hard to get here. Yeah, it took a lot of practice, but I am pretty good. Yeah, like that's the kind of feeling. It's like, you are not trying to minimize your own successes as well, which is really, really nice. So that's a really cool energy in October. It's kind of like flipping this confidence, I guess, as well, which is really, really cool. Okay, so we've got Scorpio. I transform. We've also got Aquarius. I know. Whoop. And we've got Jupiter. Again, Jupiter is a show off. Like to me, the energy of Jupiter is a very showy energy. It's very much, you know, it's very much all about going big or going home. So in some instances, maybe you're deciding that you want to go big or go home on something. So maybe it's something to do with your career. Again, maybe it's to do with your talents. Maybe it's to do even with like physical appearance. Although I'm not getting that as much, but maybe for some of you it will resonate. Like maybe you're thinking, you know, I want a makeover, go big or go home. You know, I'm going to go drastic change, or I'm just not going to change anything at all. But I'm not getting appearance as like the main one. I feel like for a lot of you, this go big or go home energy has to do with talents or something you're good at. It's kind of like, right, I'm either going to go all for it and just admit to myself that I'm good at this thing, admit to myself that I'm the shit when it comes to this talent, to this skill, or I may as well go home, because what's the point of only doing it halfway? Also, Scorpio energy is very much all in, or like it's all or nothing a lot of the time. Scorpio is like, I'm either getting to the very bottom of my potential, or I'm not even touching it, if that makes sense. So also what could be indicated here is that Scorpio season does start in October. So it could be that towards the end of October, you're going to be feeling those energies even more intensely. So you may kind of ease yourself into it in October while it's still Libra season, and coming into Scorpio season, which is at the end of the month, you're going to be feeling those energies a lot stronger. This is kind of a cool reading. I'm really enjoying doing this one. Okay, let's see what else. I have another tarot deck here. what else does group 1 need to know for October? Page of Swords. Ten of Pentacles. And Six of Wands in reverse. Yeah, I'm getting that you're kind of tired of not being noticed for something. But in a way, you're like, I'm tired of not being noticed for this thing. But I'm realizing that it's also my mindset that is not allowing me to be noticed for this thing. It's kind of like, you could be the best singer ever. Again, I'm going back to singing for some reason. For some of you, maybe this resonates. But it's like, you could be the best singer ever. You could be literally, have a voice of an angel. But if you're not promoting yourself enough, if you're not admitting to yourself that you've got the voice of an angel, if you're not stepping up and saying, you know what, I am kind of the shit. I'm a big deal. You should notice me. It's very likely that very few people will notice you. There needs to be a certain level of confidence and a certain level of, yeah, I am the shit, in order for other people to believe that you are the shit. So you're kind of realizing that you could be the shit, but if you're not recognizing yourself as the shit, less people will recognize you as such, if that makes sense. Another thing that I'm getting is that there's something that some of you, if you are in college especially, if you're in college or you're doing any sort of coursework, it could be that you're very entrenched in your coursework in the month of October, and you're really thinking about your long-term future as well. So there is this kind of feeling of like, being very responsible. I feel like a lot of you are going to be very organized in the month of October, which is really kind of cool to see. It's like you're organized, you have your priorities straight, you've got your ambition straight, and a lot of you are doing a really good job at studying or maybe doing your assignments, and doing them, not leaving them till last minute, because you're thinking of like the future you're thinking of minimizing stress on yourself. So if you're in college and you're doing that, your guides are like really happy that you're doing that, because you're giving yourself more freedom in the long run. A lot of you are going to be focused on like, where do I see myself? I'm hearing in 2 years and I'm hearing in 3 years. So 2 to 3 years potentially. So some of you are maybe really focused on the like the long game, I suppose. So there's a lot of future planning that's coming through here with the Two of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. To me, they're future planning cards. Longevity kind of cards. Like what do I need to do in order to set up my future self? You know, in 2 or 3 years, what do I need to do now so that my future self can feel confident, comfortable, happy? So there's a lot of that kind of thinking. Some of you might decide to go and do a course because you're doing that kind of future thinking as well. So if you've been considering a course, maybe that's something that you're going to be stepping forward towards. But there is a lot of like pragmatic future planning. And it's kind of funny because I'm seeing a lot of this energy of like, I want to be seen. I want to be recognized for my talents, for my gifts. So it's very kind of like fiery and abundant, and it's like the energy of like, I suppose, the ego wanting to be seen. But then there's also a lot of like logical, pragmatic energy of like, okay, what do I need to do step by step in order to get here? So it's just very interesting energy. Like, you're not overly emotional or anything like that, but there is emotion behind what you're doing. But I would, more than emotion, it feels like vigor, and you really want to win at life. In October, there's this really strong drive to win at life. And I think you're kind of like, I'm going to do whatever it takes in order for me to win at life, and in order for the future me in 2 or 3 years to look back and go, damn, thank you for doing that for me. So you're like, I wouldn't try and cross you in the month of October, because you've got a plan. You're not going to deny your gifts anymore. You're not going to deny your talents anymore. If anyone's expecting you to be like humble or shy, like even if you would be described as shy normally, like I would say people can kind of forget about that, because you're done kind of like being quiet. You're done sitting pretty, if that makes sense. I don't know if that resonates with whoever is like watching this right now, but it's like, I'm done sitting pretty. I'm done pretending like I'm not as great as I am, as good as I am at what I do. Yeah, like, get it. Get it, group one. I really love this energy. It's like, but it's also like, you're not blaming the world for not noticing you, or you're not blaming the outside for not recognizing you. Excuse me. You're recognizing that in some instances you were the one to actually close yourself off from being recognized. And that's what I like here. You're like, I'm not blaming anyone, but I'm also done sitting pretty. I'm not blaming anyone, but I'm also done pretending like I'm not amazing at what I do. And I'm done pretending like I don't want the future me to have an amazing life. And I'm going to start taking those steps. For some of you, another thing that I'm getting is like, potentially maybe something related to like health or well-being. So maybe you are like, oh, like, okay, it's time for me to start like doing this type of exercise because it's going to strengthen this part of my body, because I want this part of my body to be strong. And it's like, you know, the time to start is now. The time to start is like right now. So yeah, and this energy is going to get progressively more intense, and you're going to kind of like get more passionate about it as the month comes to a close. So I feel like you're going to start quite mild, and it's going to snowball into this energy of like, hell yeah, I give a shit about myself. I'm my biggest advocate. I'm going to get myself to where I want to be. So yeah, definitely a very self-focused month. Although I do feel like you're going to be supported by your inner circle as well in it. I feel like there's going to be people around you that are going to be kind of like cheering you on as well. So for example, if you want to share some of your talents, there's going to be people going, yes, please share them. Like, I'm going to support you. I'm going to stand by you to show you that I'm proud of you as well. So yeah, I think that's all I'm getting for you for October group one. Very cool reading, very interesting. A lot of passion in October, and it's like passion for yourself and passion to have the best for yourself, and I really, really like that. So let's move forward. I'm going to put these cards away. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback if you feel like it. But I'm going to move forward, and we're going to move on to group number 2. So group number 2, let's see what is coming up for you in October. We'll just see what the cards want to tell us. Group 2, October. Queen of Cups, the Fool, the World. Okay, so some of you might be traveling in October. I don't know if that resonates. Travel, getting out of your comfort zone as well, like similar to group 1, but definitely not the same. So I need to stop mentioning groups in groups. This is like very freeing energy. Like the way that this looks is very, you feel very free. You feel like nobody's controlling you. I don't know if that's how you felt the last couple of months. You kind of feel very explorational. Like, I'm not seeing many goals. I'm not seeing many kind of like, oh, I need to get this promotion, or I need to get this done, or this. There's not many tasks, not many chores in October. It feels like exploration. Some of you could be going on like an extended trip where you're literally just going, traveling, and exploring. I'm not seeing, like, it's almost like maybe there are responsibilities, because the World card can talk about responsibilities, but it's like you've taken care of those responsibilities in the background so that you can go and enjoy yourself and feel free. And it's causing you great emotional fulfillment with this Queen of Cups. It's like emotionally you feel taken care of. But there's this sense of like, I don't have to answer to anyone right now. I don't have to answer my phone. Like, I could turn off my phone if I wanted to. Like, there's that kind of feeling of like, it's so nice to feel that nobody's gonna like run after me and go, oh, we need you to sort this problem out. Like there's a feeling that maybe you haven't felt this way in a very long time. You maybe always feel like someone always needs you. You know, is it like your kids, or is it your siblings, or is it your friends? There's this feeling of like, maybe for the last few months you felt like you were always kind of relying on other people, or that you always had to make sure that everything was done correct. And it's like in the month of October, you don't really need to do that. There's not as much responsibility. There's not as much things to worry about. You're just free. Free to explore, free to move around. And everything feels kind of easy to you in October. So you might feel like October moves quite quickly at the same time, because it's like the ease that you're going to move through October will feel so smooth that it's almost like October's gone and you're in November straight away. But not in a bad way, because this feels like it just feels so smooth, like a smooth ride. Maybe another thing that I'm getting for some of you, maybe you receive like some finances, but this is not exclusive to finances, but for some of you, maybe you get some sort of a financial help or gain that allows you to feel more free. Like maybe you get to pay something off, like you pay off a debt, or you pay somebody back, or you're able to buy something, like you're able to buy a home or something, or a car, and all of a sudden you have more freedom. That's the kind of energy I'm picking up on. Like maybe it is that you learned how to drive and you have a car now, and it's like, oh, I have this freedom. I don't have to like use transport. I don't have to ask people for lifts. I can just go whenever I want. It's this novelty of freedom that you haven't experienced before. Or maybe you have experienced before but haven't experienced it in a long time, and it's like it feels so good to have that little bit of autonomy. Autonomy is a good word, I think, like a buzzword or a keyword for your month of October. Group 2. And it feels like a lot more emotional than it is maybe physical. So like this freedom wasn't because you were like literally locked in a room somewhere. It's a freedom where emotionally you feel more free now. Could be that someone's taking care of your kids. Like it kind of makes me think of like a parent who's maybe always very busy with their kids, always has to watch their kids, and all of a sudden they get someone minds the kids for them, and they have like the whole weekend free. And it's like, wow, I'm so free. I have so much freedom to go and do whatever it is I need to do. It's like this responsibility has been taken off me, or I've been given a tool that allows me to be more free, like a car, or or a trip, or I'm going on a holiday where I don't have to worry about like what goes on in my job because I've taken care of that, or like I have somebody taking care of it. That's the feeling that I'm getting with October for you, group 2. Really cool. Okay, let's see what else. We've got part of fortune increase. For some of you, this is definitely like a financial thing that's coming in. It's like a financial thing that gets you sorted. It's like, oh, I have money to buy a car. I have money to pay off a loan. Now I don't feel like I have as many responsibilities. I feel so free. Yeah, it's like something that takes care of the mundane, something that takes care of the routine, but makes your life easier. Also, the 6th house can be responsibilities as well. For some of you, it's literally like a responsibility is being taken care of for you. Maybe it's something that you thought you had to be responsible for in work, and you were really dreading that you had to like be responsible for this thing. And all of a sudden it's like taking off your hands. It's almost like a blessing, but you get paid just the same, Maybe that's something that resonates with excuse me, with someone who's watching. I'm seeing that October is going to be pretty like a light month. I'm getting like a lightness around you. Not many things will be able to get you down. Not many things will be able to put you in a negative mood. Um, One thing, like, I'm getting emotional health is like really stable. You might feel very stable emotionally. Um, for some of you, maybe it's something to do with like therapy, or maybe it is, for example, like some sort of a medication or something like that, that all of a sudden frees you up in some sort of way, or you feel like it's taking care of something that used to bug you or bring you down or something like that. It's like maybe a certain technique that you're given in therapy or something like that. Um, all of a sudden really works for you, and you're like, oh, that's actually releasing a lot of emotional stagnation for me. October is going to be a month where nothing really serious happens, nothing like, but you're going to feel more mature coming out. So it's this kind of feeling, I suppose maybe there's a misconception that in order to mature, like really harsh lessons have to happen in our life or something like that, and sometimes maybe that's true, but I feel like that's not the case for you in October. It's like you're maturing, but you're maturing through really pleasant experiences, really calm experiences. I feel like another thing that I'm getting is that you might be talking to a lot of like really mature people. For some of you, this could be like a mother figure or grandmother figure. It doesn't have to be, but like in general, I'm getting these kind of energies of becoming more mature because you're speaking to really wise people who have maybe learned the harsh lessons, and they're just able to relay that to you through a story or through conversation. It's almost like you are maturing through really mundane everyday things in October, more so than you would have in the past. It's like you're able to gain wisdom from the smallest thing as you move through life in October. It's kind of like, every little, queue to a shop or a line to a shop can teach you some sort of wisdom. It's like, oh, I'm learning the wisdom of patience, like that's the kind of energy that I'm getting. You're going to find nuggets of wisdom in every little interaction that you have in October. You're very mindful in October. Maybe mindfulness is a big part of like, how you live your life, and it's really enriching your life. That's what I'm getting. Okay, this shuffle was terrible, so let me shuffle again. For some of you, if you are traveling, it could be that you're gaining wisdom through exploring like new countries and new cultures. Or, new cultures doesn't have to be in a different country. There could be a difference of culture within the same country. We've got 6 here. What are you getting? What money are you getting? For some of you, there's something you've been anxious about or worried about that will be taken care of financially. Something that's been causing you anxiety. Something that, like, I'm kind of getting like a debt or a loan that you have to pay off, or it could even be things like rent or something like that. All of a sudden you get like an amount of money. You're gonna get like a some sort of financial aid to help you work it out, or you're gonna save enough money to be able to pay off a loan, a debt, pay off a car or something like that. Like, I'm getting that very specifically. For a lot of you, maybe that's a point of anxiety for you right now. But what I'm getting is that October is just going to be like, it's so weird because I'm getting, it's going to be a very ordinary kind of month for you. Very, very ordinary, like nothing really out of the ordinary, nothing crazy, or there's no fireworks and no explosions, if that makes sense. But at the same time, when you come out of this month, there's so much wisdom, because it's all going to be subconscious. It's all going to be subconscious. It's all going to be so subtle. Like, I think subtlety is also a really good word for you for October. Like, you're going to realize that so much can change just through this very subtle energy. There's a calmness around you in October, even though maybe you will still have anxieties about certain things. Like, that's not to say that you won't have anxiety, you know, again, it's especially if you're someone who's like diagnosed with anxiety. But there is a certain underlying calmness of feeling like you understand the world better, feeling like you understand certain parts of life better. And it could literally be through just communicating with people, observing mundane things like cues. For some reason, cues came to mind. I don't know if, like, I'm almost getting this energy like when you're in a queue or in a line, instead of getting kind of like frustrated with the queue or the line that it's taking too long, you're almost gonna take that time to ground yourself. I'm almost getting like maybe almost like mini meditation while you're standing in a queue. I know that's so specific, but it's something that's coming through. Waiting is not going to be annoying for you in October. You're going to take the opportunity to see waiting as a moment of pause, a moment of contemplation, a moment of meditation, and you're going to gain a lot from it, even though to the outside viewer or, so someone from the outside, they might look at you in October and go, well, nothing in their life has changed. Nothing in their life has changed. But you know that on some like very integral structural level, everything has changed. Your mindset is going to be very different. I'm getting a lot more patience coming out of October, and not because nothing big is going to happen. Like, your patience, it's not going to be massively tested, but through those little experiences, like waiting in a line, waiting in a queue, there's going to be a lesson there. I hope that makes sense. But I think that's kind of like all I'm getting for you, group 2. It's a very interesting message, but honestly, I'm getting a very, very peaceful October. Very, very peaceful, very, maybe even very quiet. Not necessarily like if you're going for a trip, I think you're going to have a really fun trip, but it's going to be like a trip. It's going to be a trip that is fun, that is something that delights you, something that makes you feel good about yourself. But again, it's like I'm not seeing any huge changes or transformations. These transformations are so subtle. And, you know, one is not better than the other. That's just what I'm seeing. So I love this reading. I really enjoyed doing it. And, you know, I was about to say, I hope you have a good October, but it looks like you are going to have a good October. So I'm going to leave you here. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback. I like seeing feedback. It's always good for me as a reader. So I'm going to leave you here, group 2, and I'm going to move on. So we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to group number 3. So group number 3, let's see what is coming up in October for you. So let's get started with Modern Witch Tarot. Ten of Wands in reverse. 3 of Cups in reverse. 2 of Wands. First thing I heard when I pulled these 2 cards was, well, they won't be crossing my boundaries anymore. So there's a bit of like, maybe someone has been crossing your boundaries, or you've been noticing somebody crossing your boundaries. And it could be that you're going to have to say something. Maybe you've already said something. But there is a feeling of like, you don't get to do that anymore. That's the kind of energy I'm getting from your point of view. So maybe there's a person who continuously crosses your boundaries, or maybe crosses your boundaries periodically. There's a very stern energy around you. Like, that's not going to be happening anymore. I've made a decision. That's not going to be happening anymore. This could be a friend or someone who runs in your circles. It could be a friend of a friend. It could be a friend of a partner's friend, even something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be like your specific friend, but it's somebody that you would see in your circles, especially like social, like more social aspects. I don't think this is a coworker. It could be for some of you. For most of you, it feels more like a friend of a friend of like a sibling or a cousin or whatever. It feels less tied to like career or work. It feels more tied to maybe you see, for some reason I'm getting that you see this person not because you want to see this person, not because they're, I doubt it's a friend. That's what I'm kind of getting. It's like, it's a person that you wouldn't choose to see. It's like a person that comes with being friends with somebody else. So for example, like if you're a friend with someone and they always bring this other friend that they have around, it's kind of like you don't really have a choice in, you know, deciding if you're going to hang out with them. You do still, obviously we all have a choice. We always have a choice, but the energy is that, you know, or maybe it's like your partner has a friend who crosses your boundaries, but they're around. It's like they're around, could be an in-law for some of you. For some of you, this could be like an in-law for sure. But the main point is you're kind of like, I don't care how I know you. I don't care who you're important to. You are not going to interact with me the way that you've been interacting with me anymore. That's the energy that you're presenting in October. And it's been like a long time coming. I'm kind of getting that energy of like, this is not out of the blue. This is not you setting a boundary. I feel like maybe you've tried to set boundaries with this person before. Maybe you've tried to say things nicely and more politely before. And it's kind of like this person doesn't get it if it's said very nicely and politely. So I'm kind of getting like, now I'm going to be more firm. I'm going to be a bit of a bitch if I have to. That's the kind of energy I'm getting from you in October. You're not afraid to kind of like piss people off as well this October. You're not afraid to say it like exactly how you feel without sparing people's feelings. Because from your point of view, what I'm getting is like, well, who has been sparing my feelings? Nobody. So why am I going to spare yours? Yeah, Taurus. Like, I mean, Taurus is, if you anger a Taurus. And we've got Black Moon Lilith. Again, Black Moon Lilith is like, a lot of the time, to me, Black Moon Lilith is about like being snappy when you've been at your limit. You know, it's kind of like where our Black Moon Lilith can really expose itself is when we've been really being, like we're being pushed and we're being pushed to our limit, and when it finally snaps, you know. So it could be that there is a bit of that feeling of like, I've been patient. I've been damn patient. Tauruses are very patient. There's a lot of patience when it comes to Taurus placements. I mean, depends of course, but depends on what aspects or like whatever the planet is, whatever planet is in Taurus, like what aspects are made to it as well. Like obviously that's all important. It's not, you know, if you have Taurus placements in your chart, you're automatically like patient as hell. Like no, that's not necessarily true, but it's like Taurus as a zodiac sign, as an archetype, is a very patient energy. Could take on a lot, could you know, stand through a lot. And I just feel like your energy is just, it's like you're tired of being patient. You're tired of being patient with people. You're tired of sparing people's feelings when your feelings are not being spared. And again, I'm not seeing you blow up. I'm not seeing you, you know, have like this massive fight with anybody. I'm just seeing you become more snippy or snappy and kind of like, you don't speak to me like that. You know, it's like, I'm not going to start a fight with you. I'm not going to start dramatics with you, but you don't speak to me like that. You don't act towards me like this. And I think you are just not really interested in pretending to be friendly with people that you know have very little respect for you. But that's almost helping your overall progression, because what I'm getting here is with the North Node, it's like you're moving towards a life path. You're moving toward like a life, like your life path, your life purpose. And again, life purpose is not always just career, you know? So for you, I think part of your life purpose is to become a bit more of a bitch. I don't know if that resonates, but it's like part of your life's purpose is to be a bit less allowing when it comes to people. Part of your life's purpose is to be, you know, less inviting in some instances. You know, that's the kind of energy that I'm picking up on here. And I feel like it's almost like part of your life purpose to start making these comments and start standing up for yourself from that kind of angle. This is not just something that's changing in you for the crack, for the, you know, as a you know, oh my God, it'd be so fun if I changed and became this person. It's like, no, this is like who I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be this less allowing person. I'm meant to have very, very firm boundaries. I'm meant to, you know, tell people to piss off and keep moving if they disrespect me or disrespect my boundaries. Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess around with group 3 in the month of October. I think you're just like, why would I allow for this kind of behavior to happen? Why wouldn't I call out bullshit? Yeah, and you're honestly, with the 9 of Swords and the 3 of Swords being in reverse, what I'm getting is like, maybe in the past when you set a very harsh boundary and you had to be a little bit more firm and stern and even maybe a little bit more bitchy to put the point across, it would upset you afterwards. And you maybe in the past you would have gone, oh my God, I was horrible. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. That was really, really bad. You're not feeling that way anymore. There's this feeling of like, no, they wouldn't have heard me otherwise. I was speaking their language. I was, you know, if I was just being polite and nice, they would have consistently continued to disturb my peace and to break my boundaries. So there's no more of that guilt tripping yourself after being firm with someone. So I think October, maybe there's going to be opportunities for you to put someone in their place when it comes to you and your boundaries. 9 of Wands. Yeah, you're in a little bit of a guard kind of, you've got your guard up a little bit in October, with people, with, you might even be a little bit reluctant to open up to people. So like maybe even if you're going out on dates, you want to start taking it slow, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You know, I'm kind of getting that you're you are just really interested in preserving your energy, preserving your light and what you share with people as well. It's kind of like you're not the one to overshare in October. That's for sure. You're going to be the type of person who sits back and is like, I'll tell you what I need to tell you about myself when it's time. And again, Taurus energy is very private. It is very private. It's the sister sign of Scorpio, and Scorpios always get the classic, you know, they're so secretive, they're so private. And I feel like Tauruses always get forgotten as this very, very private energy. Tauruses hate when people know their business. Tauruses hate when people, you know what's going on in their private lives. They're so private. And like, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting a very private energy around you. You're very interested in conserving, being conservative with your privacy. Does that make sense? Probably not. For some of you, maybe I'm even getting, for some of you, you might decide to get off like social media, because 2 of Wands, especially in this deck specifically, sometimes makes me think of social media because she's like on her phone, but in the original Rider-Waite, he's holding a globe, and I always think of like social media, like World Wide Web kind of thing. So to me, what I'm getting is like, you might decide to go off certain social media, maybe all social media for some of you. Maybe take a break from social media. Again, privacy is super important to you. You might want to delete a lot of shit from your social media. Like, you might decide like, You might want to delete certain posts that were giving too much away about you or something like that. Like, you're becoming a lot more private. And it's interesting because we're going into Scorpio season at the end of October. So it's like, again, Scorpio season, I suppose, brings up that feeling of privacy as well. But you're interested in becoming a more private person, less accessible person, less allowing person. And it's not for bad reasons, it's for really good reasons. And the reason is because you respect yourself. And this is your purpose. I feel like you are actually meant to go into a very private way of living. It's almost like you're calling in some sort of way. Some of you maybe are starting to feel that way. It's like you're feeling called to become a lot more of a private persona. And it doesn't mean you can't have a public persona. Like, you can absolutely have, like, maybe a social media for your business or for a certain, like, social media persona. But I feel like for the most part, you're interested in keeping your life very private, which is very interesting. So that's what I have for you, group number 3. Really interesting reading. I really enjoyed doing this one. I feel like it's a very unique message to a degree as well. But yeah, I really, really like that. So I'm going to move forward. I'll put these cards away and we're going to move on to group number 4. So group number 4, let's see what is coming up for you in October. What are the themes around October for you? The other 3 groups were super interesting, so I'm really excited to see what is coming up for you. Okay, let's see. October for group 4. 8 of Wands. The High Priestess in reverse. Temperance in reverse. Whoa, you are fast. You are fast you are very, very fast in October. Where are you rushing? Where are you running? Where are you running? Group 4. You're like, I need to go. Where are you going? I don't know. But you need to go. Like, every second of October, you need to go somewhere. Your guides want you to slow down. With the Temperance card being in reverse, I feel like your guides are urging you to slow down. Maybe you've been running. Maybe you've been very active, very quick in the last few months. There's, like, I keep getting like, whoa, like, calm down. Just sit down for a second. Some of you might be, like, I'm getting the hamster on a hamster wheel kind of energy. So some of you might have been doing a lot of things, but not mindfully actually paying attention to why you've been doing it. And maybe that's what your guides want you to kind of like zoom out, step away. With the High Priestess being in reverse, it's like there's something that's, you've been running. You've been kind of like really fast in this really fast energy. And your guides are giving me this feeling of, if you just slow down, you could have so many realizations. You could have so many breakthroughs. So many things could reveal themselves to you if you just slow down for 1 second. But it's like you're quite unwilling to slow down. And it's like, I'm not even judging you because this is me, you know, I'm relating to this group. It's like, I need to be doing 20 things and it's like sometimes I don't even know why I'm doing them. I'm just doing them because I'm like, I just have to do something. So I totally relate to you, group 4. I am not like preaching or anything. I relate to this. But that's the energy that I'm picking up on here. It's kind of like, when was the last time that you asked yourself why you were doing something while you were doing it? Maybe that's a journaling prompt for some of you. You know, when you're doing a certain task, maybe it's like very quickly journal about it. Like, why am I doing this task? What is the reason for me to do this task? Is it like a useful task for me? I'm almost getting like you could eliminate a lot of tasks. Like, there's a lot of things that you don't need to be doing right now. Also, I keep hearing some things can wait. So maybe there's certain things that you feel, and I'm not like encouraging you to procrastinate if you're already a procrastinator, but it's almost like maybe there's certain tasks that really could wait. I'm almost getting, you know, that way when you should be like, when you should be like studying or something, or you should be doing something. or doing an assignment or something like that. And instead you get up and you start cleaning, and you're like cleaning your kitchen and you're cleaning your toilet and you're cleaning everything. And you're like, I know that assignment needs to be done, but like, oh, my toilet also needs to be cleaned. And it's kind of like, yeah, but that can wait. So that's maybe the energy that I'm getting here. It's almost like, are you doing tasks that are distracting you from something that actually needs to be done? And can those tasks wait while you go do it's? Are you using other tasks in order to procrastinate, basically? So I think in October you're going to be faced with that. For some of you, maybe it's literally the scenario I just described. Maybe you're doing a lot of chores, a lot of tasks to avoid doing certain like research, doing certain paperwork, doing assignments, studying for exams, etc. So maybe there's something that you're avoiding, and so you're filling your day with these like tasks that don't actually need to be done right now. Again, prioritizing is obviously important here. But I feel like October, it's going to be a fast month. It's going to go by very quickly. Maybe there's a lot going on. So again, especially if you're in college, maybe there's a lot of assignments. It's kind of also, one thing I'm getting is like, don't fool yourself by the amount of time that you have. So let's say something is like due on the 31st of October, or something needs to get done by the 31st of October. Don't fool yourself into thinking that it's ages away, because I'm almost getting, it's like, it's coming quicker than you think. It's coming quicker than you think. But yeah, it's like, look at what tasks can wait and what tasks maybe need your immediate attention in October. We've got lunar eclipse, change. We've got Saturn. Saturn is responsibility and being responsible with your time, because Saturn is time. Yeah, be responsible with your time. Ninth house also talks about higher level education. I feel like some of you are here definitely in college or something. It also talks about travel, of course, and cultures and higher learning. There is some sort of higher learning some of you are doing. I feel like for a lot of you, even if it's not like a traditional college course, maybe there's something that you really need to learn, and you know that you need to learn it, but you keep putting it off because you're like, I've got time. I've got so much time. So maybe there's something, maybe there's a craft, maybe there's a skill that you feel called to learning, but it's almost like you don't want to learn it because you don't want to disappoint yourself. Maybe you feel like you're going to fail at it because you're not immediately good at it. It could be something that you discover in October, something that you really want to learn, something that you really want to do, and you're not immediately good at it, and it's almost like you get immediately turned off it. And your guides are like, no, you have to practice this. And there's a reason that you're feeling called to practice this, because it's going to be, maybe you're going to be amazing at it in the future if you stick through it. But yeah, I'm getting, watch procrastination, watch your perception of time, and watch your chores and tasks, and like which tasks you're prioritizing and why are you prioritizing them? Are you prioritizing them for the wrong reasons? But I am getting that there's going to be a lot to do in October, a lot to get done. Some of the tasks might be a bit boring, but they just have to be done. There could be a little bit of like emotional exhaustion because you're anticipating difficulty. So like, for example, if we're going to study something or we're going to try and practice a skill, something we're not immediately good at, there's a negative feeling that's attached to that because it makes us feel like we're failing. And so the next time you try to go for it, you're kind of like, oh, it's going to make me feel like shit again because I'm not as good at it. So it's like your guides are wanting you to look at that negative emotion and cut yourself some slack. It's kind of like, of course I'm not good at it immediately. I'm only starting out. I'm only, beginning this. This is only the beginning of the journey. It's like, of course I'm not going to be immediately good at this. And again, it's making me think of like a college student that maybe is starting to study a subject or study something in college, and they're not immediately good at it. Or maybe it's even like someone who was really good in school and did really well in school, and with minimal effort, all of a sudden goes to college and realizes, oh, college is like 10 times harder. And I'm not immediately good at it. And there's so many other smart people around me. But it's like, that's the daunting part. But at the same time, you just have to keep going at it. You just have to keep practicing. You just have to keep reading, keep, studying. And then you will eventually get good. Like, very few people are actually naturally good at things. There's always a level of practice that is involved. There's always a level of practice in everything that needs. So practicing things that might be really important in October, and remembering that practice makes progress, not perfect, first of all, but also it's like practice is actually so much more important than talent. That's in your case anyway. That's what I'm getting with your guides coming through and being like, you are able to practice certain things to almost perfection, but you can't be setting out looking for perfection straight away. Your guides are kind of being a little bit like stern with you because they see so much potential in you. And it's almost like you're denying yourself your own potential when you don't practice this thing, or you don't, study for this thing or something like that. But I also feel like your guides are really proud of you for being brave enough to take on certain. So, for example, if you decided to go to college and you went to study this thing, even though it's hard, it's like, it's admirable that you still took that step and took the courage to go for it. Or maybe if you're not in college, I know I'm using college as an example, but this could be like if you went for a certain career and maybe you're not immediately amazing at it, but you're going for it, you're trying for it. And it's like your guides are really proud of you for trying and pushing forward and trying to get as good as like the masters, that kind of way. You're a lot better at whatever this thing is, whatever this journey that you're taking on. You're a lot better at it than you think. It's just because you're looking at it through the lens of where you are right now and not where you're going to be in a year or 2 years with this thing. Because you're thinking in too short of a time period of a timeline. Don't get tricked into thinking of things in terms of like, will I be amazing at this in 6 months? It's like, you'll be better at it in 6 months, but you'll be amazing. Like, is it bad if you're amazing at it in 3 years? Does that somehow take away? For some of you, it could be even a business, that maybe you're starting a business and it's like, it's not paying off the way you want it to. Maybe it's paying off a little bit, but it's not going as, you have a bigger vision in your mind. And it's like, is that a bad thing? That if, let's say your business is booming in 3 years, rather than today, rather than in 6 months. Is that a bad thing that it's booming in 3 years? Yes, of course, we always want things now. But I'm almost getting like, it's still going to be booming, even if it's booming in 3 years. And I know that's frustrating to hear. It would be frustrating to hear for me. I think anyone is frustrated to hear that. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, actually, would I rather just give up then? Like, would I rather keep going? And just because it's not paying off right now, would I rather keep going and allow it to pay off in like 2 or 3 years? Or would I rather give up and leave it and then it never pays off? Like, is that better? It isn't, I think that's what your guides are kind of trying to convince you of. Interesting. For some reason, I'm getting number 6 might be important. I'm getting 6th to 8th of October might be important. So 6th, 7th, 8th of October, that could be an important couple of dates for you. For some reason, that's coming through. Knight of Pentacles, slow and steady wins the race. You know, it's like you're trying to go faster than it needs to go, if that makes sense. It's like you think if you go faster and you do more tasks and you do more things that you're going to get there faster, when it has nothing to do with that. That's kind of what I'm getting here. 10 of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. Something about this feels kind of like, why do loads and loads of like menial tasks that don't actually matter when you can do very few important tasks and be less exhausted and move forward quicker? So for some of you, maybe you're working harder, not smarter. And maybe that's something that your guides want you to look at. Maybe you're actually doing way more than you need to be doing. And again, it may not make sense to you right now. I feel like it'll make more sense like closer. Well, it depends on when you're watching this reading. But I feel like it'll make more sense in October. Maybe you're going to I'm kind of getting maybe you're going to find out a way to do less and achieve more. Especially if it's in your studies, in your career, that kind of area. It's like, why am I breaking my back doing all these tasks when I could just be doing, you know, I'm doing 10 tasks a day when I could just be doing 3 or 4 tasks a day, and they'll get me even further when my 10 tasks are getting me. You're trying to get more organized, but it's not just about being organized with like tasks, like with having, you know, a list of things to do, a to-do list. That's not all it is. It's also about realizing which tasks drain you more emotionally and which tasks maybe even fulfill you emotionally, and looking at that, because not every task is equal. That's what I'm getting. It's like some task will be absolutely nothing in terms of your energy, reserve and how much energy you're using, and another task might take all of it, even if it only takes 2 minutes to do. And so maybe you're looking at what kind of tasks emotionally drain you, how often do they need to be done, and how you can frame those tasks so that they're easier to do and less emotionally draining for you. Maybe that's something that you can journal about. Maybe that's a journaling prompt, like, what tasks do I have to do through the day for my business, for my studies? Which ones are less draining? Which ones are more draining? Do I want to do the more draining ones in the morning? Do I want to do the more draining ones in the evening? What would work best for me? And there's not one answer for like any one person or all of the people that are watching this group. It's like, it's going to be very, very specific for each person. So it's maybe like regulating and establishing, some sort of a routine for yourself, but not in the standard way of like, wake up, you know, do this, have breakfast, you know, etc. Like, but more so tuning into tasks that drain you and figuring out how they can drain you less. How can you support yourself so that a task doesn't drain you as much? Because I feel like there's ways around it, and your guides are saying you just need to find ways around it. And you know what, a very similar message, like kind of different, but something came through for September, I remember last month, where it was a bit more of like a, rather than bending yourself, you're like almost time bending, being a bit of a time bender. I'm kind of getting this message here again in this group. So if you got that message in September, let me know if you're getting this one in October, because it's like working smarter, not harder, working with the time and the essence of time, working with your emotion rather than against your emotion, and balancing yourself and slowing down, is really coming through here. So, yeah, that's what I have for you, group number 4. Really interesting reading. Let me know if that resonated. Let me know if you feel like that helped. I like hearing feedback. If you have any sort of specific feedback, leave it in the comments. And I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.